Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this first webinar, a little bit of an experimental effort to let people know about this very exciting program. We have a brief program, a presentation to share with you to describe the field of sonography, and it's extremely exciting, and we'll have some time for Q&A at the end of this presentation, probably less than half an hour of us talking and then a lot more opportunity for you to interact with us. My name is Henry Abramson. I serve as a Dean of Touro University in Brooklyn, and I am involved quite heavily with my colleague, Mrs. Esther Braun, in the administration of Machon La Parnassa. And I'm extremely excited about this particular program. We worked for about 3 years to receive state approval to run this program because it is a very rigorous, demanding program with tremendous benefit. Because it really lives up to our name, which is Machon La Parnassa, translates as an institute for making a living. The real term we use in English is Institute for Professional Studies, which is also true, but it has this amazing combination of being a very fast program. It can be completed in 2 years, and it has a big payoff at the other end. It's an extremely rewarding career in the helping professions, a respectable career, a dignified career where you're working in a health services environment, and it especially is quite lucrative. I want to share with you 2 quick slides, and then I'm going to hand it off to my colleagues. Let me just share my screen for a moment here. This is a website that you should all make yourselves familiar with. It's the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS.gov, and it brings together a tremendous amount of information about every single job you could possibly want in the United States of America, and gives you real details on how to become one, the educational process, and so on. And as you can see, if you look at the area for sonographers, you'll see that in 2021, the median pay was $75,380 a year for an associate's degree, which is really quite a nice range, and that the job outlook for 2020 to 2030 is a 14% growth, which is faster than average. When you drill down a little bit more and you look at, let me just share a different screen. When you look at the data broken down by the states, you can see here that New York is actually in an excellent position. It has the highest employment level of diagnostic medical sonographers in the United States, meaning for every 1,000 jobs that are advertised, that are available, everything from, Uber drivers up to the, president of the Supreme Court, sonographers have a 0.70 incidence, which is the highest of the entire country, and the wage in this particular area, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, is quite high. It's $88,490. So that kind of salary after completing just 2 years of education is really quite remarkable, and we're very excited about it. We're very pleased to be offering this to you. So that's basically the story from my perspective. I'm going to hand it off now for just a few words of welcome from my colleague, Mrs. Esther Braun, and I will end my screen share.
Hi, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Again, we're very, very excited about this new program, which will be housed in our beautiful campus in the heart of Midwood Flatbush. The sonography program is a fitting addition to the nursing program, which I started under Touro's Machon division. The nursing school has evolved and grown by leaps and bounds, and we are positive that the sonography program is going to experience the same kind of success that we have had with the nursing program. Touro University offers a wide range of health science programs that are very, very popular and very, very successful. And we are convinced sonography is going to join that illustrious group. Incoming students will experience the high level of warmth, professionalism, and caring that we provide here on our end to all of our Machon students. All of the sonography students will experience the same thing. All of our student body at Machon, as well as our future incoming sonography students, become part of the Machon family, the extended family, and we hope to become an integral part of your journey through this program. And thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Braun. And now we turn to the academic leader of the specific program, the highly experienced and valued Ms. Stephanie Evans.
Thank you so much, Henry. And I'm going to introduce us to sonography and what it means, and definitely what are some of the things that we would see. Sonography is a part of a broader perspective of medical imaging. And medical imaging, we consider the eyes and ears of the doctors. We see everything, and the doctors, it helps with our diagnosis moving forward. So medical imaging, as you're going to hear from some of our students, encompasses radiography, lots of other areas, MRI and so on. But for tonight, we're going to focus on sonography. So imaging, as we know, healthcare is a multi-billion-dollar business, and it's one of the largest occupational fields in the US. There are approximately 300 occupations and career specialties and employment in varied settings, from hospitals to homes and so on. So healthcare is one of the growing areas. Now, the interesting thing about medical imaging is that it's a part of what we call a career ladder. In other words, you can get one credential, move to another credential. So a lot of our students start out as radiographers, sonographers. They go on to become nurses, and finally doctors and other professionals as well, educators. We're in a new era in medicine, where now we look deeper inside the body. We predict, we diagnose, we inform, and we treat. And medicine has evolved to become even more personalized for the patient as we move on. So they're increasing diagnostic testing. So before the doctor does anything, a common thing that he asks for is an X-ray, an MRI, or sonogram. Sonography is actually one of the fastest growing imaging modalities, as we call it. And so we can see in detail into the body in many ways. And we can pick up some of the tiniest things, tiniest disease factors in things like molecular imaging and so on. So let's talk about some of the areas. We have ultrasound, angio, CT, MRI, nuclear medicine, mammography, and radiation therapy. But tonight we're going to focus on ultrasonography. So radiography is one of the basic tests that you'll get when you go to a hospital. You get a chest X-ray, which is what we call a routine process for any procedure in a hospital. And X-rays just basically gives you a flat picture of things. We do have X-rays that are moving. It's dynamic. We call it fluoroscopy. But let's look at sonography. So medical sonography uses high frequency sound waves to create a medical image, and it has a variety of medical applications. So from sonography, it comes from sonar. They're different, where we can bounce off a frequency of sound, and then it reflects back to the probe. And by that, we're able to look at the tissue inside the body. So we call it diagnostic medical ultrasound or ultrasonography. And we also have specialty areas like echocardiography and vascular sonography. So there are various areas to grow in sonography. And sonography is used for many things: to look into the abdomen, to intervene in tumors. You can look to diagnose tumors across the body, but many are familiar with the obstetrical and gynecological functions that we use sonography for. So ultrasound is, as we say, transmitted and reflected at the end of a transducer, and that determines the type of tissue, as we do the same from sonar when we're looking underneath. So first we have a probe that is then put on the patient, and from that you will see here that the probe emits a sound wave. That sound wave then is echoed onto the tissue, and from that we can get an image of what happens inside. So many of us are familiar. Now we have what we call 3D sonography, where you can see how close the baby looks to that sonogram. And that gives us a great picture. It helps us to know if there's anything going wrong with the baby, what we can do to intervene. Now we can do some surgery intrauterine. So sonography gives us quite a nice picture of in obstetrics and gynecology. You can see the baby here in clear detail. And see, they're pretty much very similar to how the baby will look after. So I have to say congratulations to Dean Abrams. He's familiar with this. So we also have various tracks in sonography, vascular sonography, where we can look at your blood vessels and veins and be able to see what's occurring in those blood vessels by using the technology called Doppler. And so Esther and some of our other students are really adept now at looking inside at the thyroid. So we have 3D, we have 2D, we can see inside. We also use sonography to look at the heart. It's called echocardiography. And that way we can look and diagnose problems in the heart and intervene as well. Now here you will see, using sonography, we can look at what's going on, where it's a thyroid cancer, thyroid nodules, or goiter, which is an enlarged thyroid. And that way we can have a good picture of what's going on. And imaging has evolved a lot now that we can use various kind of sound waves. We have a pill endoscopy that we can look into the intestines and see and take pictures as we're coming. This is looking in your intestines. And so things have evolved over time for us to be able to see even greater. We now are able to use what we call nanobots to look further into at the microscopic level to look into your blood vessels down to the blood cell. And we can do that a lot with AI and intelligent bots, we call them, that can diagnose and treat disease. And we can equip them in various cameras to be able to do that. We also now have a conversion of health platforms. Remember, now you can get an EKG on your phone. You can do a sonogram on your phone as well. So we have all these AI mechanisms for which we can diagnose and treat disease. So you can also be a traveling sonographer. One of the things that the COVID epidemic taught us is that with a shortage of staff, you could travel all over the world, satisfy the needs of different locations, and earn a wonderful salary while you were doing that as well. So in conclusion, I would say that welcome to those of you who are here tonight. You've done an excellent choice, excellent career choice in looking at this. And so I would say welcome and congratulations, and I look forward to meeting you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Evans. That was fascinating. I did not know that you could actually take nanobot pills. That is like just a brand new frontier. And by the way, as Dr. Evans mentioned, I'm a new grandfather. So I just I was visited my my newest granddaughter, Chaya Mushka Mills, and she looks much cuter than any of the other babies in those PowerPoints. No offense, but much cuter. Okay, we're now going to turn to some student reflections on what studying sonography does. First, we're going to go to a very successful student, Mr. Jordan Donahue, who will tell us something about his experience studying sonography. Please.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. As Ms. Evans just said, I think you've made a good choice in the first step of embarking upon a career that definitely truly has value. You're going to be a pivotal part. You, as Ms. Evans said, will be the eyes and the ears for these physicians to make pivotal decisions on what could be your family member's care. I, too, was one of those students that Ms. Evans mentioned that leveraged my experience. I'm a 2014 graduate from the radiography program, cross-training CAT scan and MRI. I went on and I used my experience and my relationships and leveraged what I did in radiography to go into the field of consulting. I started in spine, went into cardiology, and most recently I am an oncology specialist for Novartis, and I'm responsible for the prostate cancer division. But I will say that it's a true testament to the School of Medical Imaging Sciences that I really don't think I would be where I am today without that. I learned a lot. It was, as Dean Abrams said, a very rigorous program. And it is very rewarding, and it is something that you have to concentrate on for 2 years. It is a big commitment, and it's a commitment for a reason, because you have patients' lives in your hands, and the work that you're going to be doing truly is meaningful. I will say that I can echo that it is a family that you would be joining. I was part of that family for 2 years, and not just the family at large, but the physicians that you rotate and transfer through. But I was the president of my class, and still to this day, I'm in very close communication. It's almost like a fraternity. There's a brotherhood option. We're very close. We lean on each other. We provide resources. I still am very active in the imaging sciences program in the respect that I am an advocate and I help students place in employment. I have several connections, and I feel strongly to the School of Imaging Sciences, as that's where I came from. That's where I was trained. And I believe that you individuals have the best knowledge coming out of the program to be able to make a difference in these individuals' lives. So I'm happy to entertain any questions at the end. Again, I'm very happy to be here, thankful for the opportunity. And again, as Ms. Evans said, I think you're making a great choice and what could be just the starting point. There's so many different avenues, but sonography is a great place to start. Thank you all for the opportunity.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Donahue. That was fascinating and extremely useful. Let me mention 2 quick points before we go to our next speaker. First is, as Mr. Donahue mentioned, we will have a Q&A. The way in which you participate is at the bottom of your Zoom screen. There's a little icon that is helpfully labeled Q&A for questions and answers. Just please click there and you'll be able to type your question in. The panelists will see it and will be able to respond to it. Secondly, just to clarify, because many of you have come to us through Machon La Parnassa specifically, and you should know that we actually run this program in several different locations. We run it in Manhattan through NISCAS, which is a mixed gender program, both men and women studying in the same classes. The Machon La Parnassa model, which is how we run all of our classes, have separate classes for men and for women. The curriculum is obviously identical, the faculty is identical and so on, but that's just the way we do things at Machon La Parnassa and also at the Lander College of Arts and Sciences. So most of you on this call actually are women. You would be in an all-women class at Machon La Parnassa. We have a separate one, obviously, for men, or the mixed program at NISCAS. And with that, let us turn to a current student at NISCAS, Ms. Aronova, who is the star of our media campaign to let lots of people know that Machon La Parnassa now has sonography. Please, Ms. Aronova.
Thank you so much for having me speak here tonight. I am currently a student in the sonography program. We are a big family, and we are, we're all as students working very hard to achieve the goal of actually becoming sonographers. And it is pretty tough. However, it is worth it at the end. We are all, I'm currently in my 3rd semester, and it requires a lot of dedication, commitment, staying focused and, just getting your work done, studying and working very hard. Just being able to scan another person, it's fascinating, and you learn something new every class that you attend. Miss Evans, she is an amazing person to turn to as well. She helps, and she was personally one of my professors, and I loved attending her class, learning something new. And it's only good that comes out of it. I have done extensive research on, in general, the actual job itself. And I have many family members that are also sonographers, and everyone that I've ever met are very happy going into the field. And yeah, it's an honor. And, I love where I'm standing currently, and can't wait to see, all my classmates and I just succeed with obviously the help of the staff in school. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Aronova. That's a wonderful testament. We wish you tremendous success as you complete this program. And now our final speaker is going to be Mr. Michael Kastner, who hopefully you will all get to know very well, because he is specifically associated with guiding students through the sometimes challenging application process, because we really We want high qualified, motivated students who are really serious about this. So we take the application process serious as well. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Kastner now to tell you a little bit about that process. You're on mute.
Hi, sorry about that. And sorry about my lighting over here, but you can hear my words. So I will be, if you're interested in applying to the program, we'll send out a pamphlet that gives you instructions on how to apply. Now, the Touro, Touro is a mammoth university that has lots of different sections and lots of different programs. And without my little roadmap for applying to the program, it can be somewhat confusing. And since we're kind of we're so close to the beginning of the program, I try to smooth out the curves and to make the process a lot easier for you. So you'll follow the instructions, and also know at the bottom of every piece of literature that you'll get about this program is my email. And I'm available to you all the time to help you through the process, to answer any questions, and to figuratively hold your hand until the program starts and you'll be in the capable hands of Miss Evans and her whole staff. So one thing that I'd like you to know, that because again we're so close to the beginning of school starting, is when you do start the application, you're going to, in order to submit the application, you're going to have to do 3 things. Number one, after you fill in all the basic information and what the program is and all that mundane stuff, you're going to have to write a personal statement telling us why you'd like to be in the program and why you'd like to be in this field. You will have to provide the names and email addresses for 3 people who can write a recommendation for you. And this can be teachers, this can be work supervisors, it can be clergy, it basically can be any non-family member who knows you well. Then after that, you'll have to provide us with official transcripts of schools that you've gone to. Most of you have just been to high school, we'll need your official high school transcript. And those of you who have attended either all or some college, we would need you to provide your official college transcript also. But that, you will not have to give the transcripts at the time that you that you apply. That could be done afterwards. The important thing is getting us as much as you can in order to to submit the application. There at the end of the application, there'll be a little box for you to check, saying that all the information you gave us is correct. And there'll also be a $60 application fee that you'll have to provide. And then that's it. And once we get the application, we'll review it. If there's anything that's missing, I'll reach out to you and tell you what you need in order to complete everything. Once it's completed, we'll set up a placement test for you and set up an interview for you. And those 2 things, the test is just for us to get a feeling of the level of the people in the class. It plays a very small role, and it shouldn't be something that you stress over. And the interview is a way that we can get to know you, because as everybody's been saying, what this program is not just for us to convey information, but it's also team building. And we just want to make sure that we're building a nice cohesive group that can be together for 2 years and benefit each other in the future. So again, when you're interested in applying, you can reach out. I'll send you information. Some of you have already gotten our introductory email, and at the end of the introductory email are instructions to apply. And again, any questions, shoot me an email, and I'm always here for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kastner, much appreciated. Okay, we actually are right on schedule. So now we're going to open up the discussion to questions. We have our first question, and by the way, use the Q&A button at the bottom. Please don't be shy. I normally have to tell people that nobody likes to ask the first question, so we usually start with the second question. But today we actually have the first question already appearing, which is, hello everyone, got here late, sorry, is this worldwide? So the answer is actually no. We do offer a tremendous number of online programs, but this particular program is only going to be offered in situ, actually on our campus, or the parallel sister program in Manhattan. That's because, especially in the first year, you will have live classes where you got to come in and it's very disciplined. Everyone puts on the white coat. Everyone like takes on this new personality of serious student of sonography kind of personality. And then the second part of the semester, the second part of the program, of course, involves a lot of clinical hours where you'll be working actually in hospitals. So it's an in-site program. You have to be in residence, commuting distance to Brooklyn to be able to participate. Professor Evans, do you want to add anything to that, perhaps? No, you're on mute.
No, I think that was quite complete, and that was fine.
Okay, great. I am now going to put up another question here. I think this one is for you, Professor Evans. Hello, will students be able to take the ARDMS exam as soon as they complete the program without having to take any further training?
Very good question. The ARDMS is unique in that it's broken up into several parts. And while you're in the program, as Esther will tell you, she's now studying for our SPI exam, which is our sonography physics. You take your sonography physics while you're in the program. And then when you are almost near to the end, you will take your what we call your specialty exam. So there are two parts to become certified in sonography. One is the ARDMS and the other is the ARRT. The ART does a full exam of all the parts, while the ARDMS, you take your sonography physics first while you're in the program, and then you take your specialty exam before you finish the program.
Okay, excellent. That was useful. I learned something too.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for any other questions. Those were two questions. One was really, here we go. Are we accredited by CAAHEP? This is from Ms. Benitez. Ms. Evans?
We're in the process of that accreditation.
Perhaps we should also add that the accreditation process involves several stages, one of which is they actually come to our campus and see how we're doing things. So we can't be accredited until we actually start teaching students, and then they come and they have a look at us and so on. Yes. But this program historically grew out of an existing program run by Professor Evans with Columbia. So it's really following in that same chain, and we fully anticipate that we will receive full accreditation. However, that's not up to us, it's up to the accreditors, but I'm confident in it. Good question. Okay. That's three good questions. That's it. Okay. If there are no other questions, I'm going to thank you very much for all of your attendance and your participation. We have your emails, and Mr. Kastner will send you a quick note, suggest to find out if there's anything else you want to speak to him about specifically. Otherwise, we hope you have an excellent evening, and we hope we're going to see you in the program. Oh, wait, I got two more quick questions here. Let's see if they're useful for us. The first question is, if you are accredited by CAAHEP within the 2 years, will the entry class of this year be grandfathered into the accreditation upon completion? I guess what this means, in other words, is if you earn the diploma while the accreditation is underway, then is that diploma accredited? And I believe, if I can answer this, Ms. Evans, please correct me if I'm wrong, but that is exactly how accreditation works, that it is the school that's accredited, not the student. The student is accredited through the diploma, as it were, and once the accreditors say, yes, these diplomas are worth the paper they're printed on, then the students get it. So it is ipso facto grandfathered. The second question is about a history degree. I'd be happy to answer that, but perhaps you just write me an email instead. henry.abramson@touro.edu, and that will be much easier than taking this space. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for your participation, and we hope to see you in the program.
Thank you, and have a good night, everybody.
Thank
right.
you so
Good
much.
night, everyone.